Okay, so when I'm not gaming, I am reading the Star Wars Legends books. So we're talking today about Force Unleashed Book 1 and Book 2. And I just gotta highly recommend these. And they actually made so that there was the story, and then the video games, and then the books, or the books and then the video games. I never played the video games, but a kid in my neighborhood when I was a kid growing up, he I think more closer when I was getting to be a teenager, he was like raving about the video games. So that was stuck in my mind all these years, and I finally got around to reading the books. So if you want to read about Darth Vader's apprentice in between episodes 3 and 4, that's kind of my favorite Star Wars timeline because, obviously it's right after Order 66. Jedi are getting hunted down. Some have gone into hiding. We knew about Yoda and Obi-Wan going into hiding, but there's actually so many more that survived Order 66. And so Starkiller is being sent to hunt down some of these Jedi. And Vader hunts down others in other Star Wars Legends books. But if you love this time period before A New Hope, and the Empire is taking over worlds, everything's in chaos, and they're laying down their order. What else to say? There's a couple worlds Starkiller goes to in this book, and it's pretty cool to read about. And he obviously, lays waste to some of these Jedi, which is crazy how powerful he is. And you start to see the battle between light and dark in this guy. Is he a guy? Is he a clone? Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. And these are just great books for, it'd be cool is if someone comes along that hasn't really got into Star Wars and they read these, if they read the books in chronological order, whereas, when I grew up, I was watching episodes 4, 5, and 6 on repeat in the DVD player in the Chevy Tahoe while I was getting, going from place to place. And then I watched the prequels, 1, 2, 3. But if someone got to read about Starkiller before the whole Vader and Luke Skywalker arc, it would be cool for someone to get that firsthand experience that way. Whereas I already know that Vader is eventually gonna turn back to the light side because of Luke, his son. But Starkiller doesn't know that Vader's Anakin Skywalker, but he knows about Anakin Skywalker and the other Jedi because of his droid proxy in The Force Unleashed. So Starkiller, very dark in book 1, starting to get a hint of the battle of light versus dark within him. But then we get to book 2, and he's no longer hunting Jedi. He's just, I didn't know this, but his family crest is the rebellion symbol. They adopted it off of his family crest. So that's a very cool little tidbit. And that's not a big spoiler, so calm yourselves. What else? His whole love arc, and that mirrors Vader when Vader with Anakin and Padme, Starkiller and Juno. There's a whole parallel there that Vader knows, but he doesn't relay that to Starkiller because, of course, he doesn't want Starkiller to know about all of his thing with Padme. And so that's very cool. And the fact that Starkiller is so powerful, some of the things he does in these books is really incredible. And you're like, is it because of its accelerated, training in the dark side? But then what he can do when he's no longer really using the dark side as well. And it's like, of course, Luke as a character was written way back in the 70s and 80s. Because, of course, we've seen episode 5, he can't even move the X-Wing, but Yoda can. And then Starkiller has a certain visit to a certain dark cave filled with the dark side, and maybe has some visions, and maybe talks to a certain creature, a very wise and old creature. So the fact that they did that in this book was another cool touch. And also Palpatine Sidious doesn't find out about Starkiller until late book 1, because Vader's been keeping him a secret from Sidious this whole time. But then in book 2, Sidious knows. Sidious isn't really all that much around in book 2, to be honest, only at the end of book 1. But either way, it's just very good reads. I highly recommend it. And now that I'm done with this, well, I got 16 pages to go, and I'll be done with those. And then I got Outbound Flight next, but I just wanted to recommend those two to you. And I sit every morning in this recliner, and I read a couple chapters before work, and it's just a good time. But now that it's Saturday, I think I'll play another match of Catan, so you should see that on the channel later today. And that's what we'll do. Keep it rolling. Thanks for watching.